Wow, I was really not expecting this. Bandai usually announces all the new upcoming kits in a very big bang fashion in January or during Wonder Festival winter, but here we are, this late in the year, and all the big hitters are being announced by Bandai in this video. Now the first up is a mobile suit that I've been waiting for in the master grade format for the longest time. This is Gundam Kyrios coming in May 2020, going in at 5,500 yen. Comparing that to the earlier non-grade version 1/100 scale, you can see that there are a few differences in terms of the head. I think that's one very big difference. It definitely looks a lot better here. The chest as well, and the proportions of the kit, it just looks a lot better compared to the non-grade 1/100 version. So I think it definitely looks great. Thirdly, details. Now that's the only thing that I'm a bit worried here, because it does look quite similar to the earlier release, so hopefully this is not the final prototype and there'll be more changes and gimmicks to be announced. I'm hoping that the Gundam Virtue will be next, given that we had the Dynames early this year and we're gonna have Kyrios coming next year, so hopefully we'll get the Gundam Virtue next. Next up is this guy. Wow, I have to say, this high grade kit is new to me. This is a G unit, and if you ask me, yes, this is the first time of me being exposed to this design. That crotch piece is something that I would definitely need to get used to. It's something very different, but overall, for high grade kit, this level of detail, I almost mistook this for a real grade kit. I mean, the panel line just looks fantastic in this kit, so I would definitely be getting this. No word out yet on pricing, but it will be coming out sometime. I heard sometime in February. Next up is G Gundam Unit 4. This is a side story version. Now this one, I have to say, it looks really good in high grade form. If I'm not mistaken, we already have the master grade version of this. That master grade version is pretty bad in terms of articulation and gimmicks, but if you really pin it up, it looks fantastic. But I'm seriously surprised for high grade kit. The colors on this kit looks a lot better than the actual master grade version. In a surprise move, we're also getting the Gundam D Origin in a high grade version. Surprisingly, when I first saw this, I also almost mistook this for the original real grade RX-30-2. Definitely, this kit looks crazily detailed and pass separate as well. For high grade kit, I am seriously planning to get this kit, and I'm not sure whether anyone would think if Bandai would actually release the Origin version in a real grade format as well, given that how the actual real grade version of the RX-100-2 was not that a great kit, right? A lot of parts were falling off and it broke quite easily. Let me know if you guys think otherwise. The other big kit that's coming out next year, well, at least for us, we are big Zaku fans, is a Zaku Desert Type. This guy is coming out sometime in 2020, to be decided on which month, 2,420 yen. It looks great because, yeah, it is supposed to be all brown and black because it is supposed to be a desert type. I do like how they have the red outline to make that kit a little bit more anime friendly. Definitely, we'll be getting this when it comes out next year. Now this one is a very interesting release. The next release is the Reborn 1/100 scale at 4,180 yen. Yes, it's a little bit pricey, and yes, it looks a little bit bland. I suppose you probably need to buy a knife and engraver to really make your own panel line to make it stand out, but there's a lot of customization possibilities with this kit. But then again, right, with the Reborn series, we are meant to get obscure mobile suits that nobody has really heard of, and it's really for us old-time Gundam fans to actually collect our series. This guy, wow, Infinite Justice coming out in May. I suppose nobody saw this coming, and I really like the way they post the kit at the event itself. Looks pretty good. I think articulation wise looks great. Of course, if you compare this to the real grade version which I built, the detail, yeah, it's not that great, but then again, this is a high grade version after all. Two more new seed releases, and this one is high grade Gundam Windham. Quite cheap, 1,540 yen. Surprisingly, I would say that this kit, from the way he posed, you know, your signature strike pose, you can do that pose in a high grade format. Not a lot of details. It does look kind of bland, but I do like how long the V fin is on this guy. That is something that you don't really see that often. But I think the biggest seed release that everybody is excited about is this one, the Real Grade Force Impulse. Wasn't expecting Bandai to release a lot more kits for seed line under the Real Grade series, but here we are. So I'm sure all of you seed fans will be jumping for joy when this guy actually comes out next year. So make sure you pre-order them now. It looks pretty good, yeah. The Gundam Marcosias, finally we get a look at how the kit is in real life, and yeah, I have to say, it definitely looks superb. I will be getting this kit when it comes out sometime in March. So a lot of new kits coming out next year, and starting to see how I'm going to save up my time and also my money to buy all these kits and to actually build them. So Marcosias, a lot of you guys are excited about this, and yes, a lot of you have mentioned this, how it looks like the Bile versus the married with a Barbatos. And speaking of Barbatos, if you guys have not yet built the SDCS series, I think this is really the time to start now. Finally, we have a Barbatos. This is the Lupus Rex, and in the SDCS version, surprisingly, it looks pretty fierce and pretty awesome as well. Quite a lot of details, two separate set of eyes, and all the customary weapons. At least now the mace is bigger than the actual suit, mobile suit itself. So I know a lot of you were complaining about how small the mace was in the master grade version. At least in the SDCS version, that ratio proportion of the weapon to the mobile suit looks a bit better. Now, a lot of exclusive kits are also coming up for the Gundam Base Tokyo. Of course, I've mentioned the Togis 3 special coating before. I love that kit. It is very pricey at close to 11,000 yen, but I think it's worth getting. And there is also the DJ Clear Color, which, as I'm already a very big fan of the DJ mobile suit design, but to have it in this clear color green, I can't wait to get this, frankly speaking. But unfortunately, I'm not going to Japan anytime soon. So if any one of you are going, please help me to get that DJ clear color version if you can, right? Next up, of course, is the Earth 3 clear color version as well. They call it Into Dimension Clear. Now, if you compare them side by side, I would have to say, surprisingly, the kit looks pretty nice, yeah? And the price is also quite cheap as well. It's less than 1,600 yen. It's definitely something that you should buy if you are going to Gundam Base Tokyo. And I'm sure that this will also be available in the rest of the Gundam Base, such as Korea and Taiwan as well. And one thing that I mentioned a couple of times before as well, all these special parts that is released from Bandai, if you actually put them under the black light as we've shown you in the previous video before, you will see that those parts will actually light up very nicely, just like a Christmas tree. You light up that nice, yeah. So quite interesting. Now, before I end the video, I just want to rant a little bit. Obviously, quite a lot of you have tried to buy the Gundam G40, despite all the negative comments about how you hate the articulation on the legs, how the side skirting doesn't move. Most countries, as even including Japan, the G40 is all sold out. Now, I'm not sure whether this is a issue with overwhelming demand versus supply in the market, or is Bandai, didn't anticipate that there's going to be this much demand, because the design is very, very odd. Or maybe the third scenario is Bandai wanted to create demand. I don't know, seriously, right? But all I know is Japan, there's no stock. There's no stock in Singapore, there's no stock in Malaysia, even Thailand and Indonesia. Quite a lot of countries have sold out on a G40, which to me was quite a surprise, because number one, there was so much negative press in terms of the look and the articulation, the fixed skirting, the leg joint movement as well. It was a bit weird to some of you. And of course, secondly, the price was extremely high for a high grade kit, right? It cost almost the same as the Gundam Barbatos. You could just pay a little bit more to get the master grade Gundam Barbatos, but still, that kit was fully sold out. And I guess we need to ask ourselves, right? Do we trust all the comments and reviews of what we see in the Facebook? Because frankly speaking, that kit is all sold out. I guess maybe a lot of old timers appreciate something fresh in terms of design for the G40. So let me know what you guys think. Am I just ranting out of logic, or do you guys think that you have gotten a kit and something that you really want to keep because the value is going to go up in the next few months? Let me know. For me right now, I think I'm actually quite excited with the Real Grade Force Impulse, the Gundam Marcosias is coming out, we knew that as well. But of course, the master grade Kyrios, really excited about that. And of course, the G unit. Wow, so many new releases coming out next year, and even the high grade Gundam The Origin in high grade format. Wow, I think I will start saving up now for next year. So let me know what you guys think of all the new releases. Which is the one that you will definitely buy, and which are the ones that you say, nah, I'll skip it because there's just too many kids to focus this year and also next year, right? So again, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been an amazing year for Gunpla, and I've been trying to put up a best of 2019 Gunpla kits for this year, but I've been so swamped. So let me know if you guys want to see that video. I'll definitely put it out. And if you're new to our channel, please subscribe and leave a comment down below, right? Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Winning Gunpla, guys.